Hi, I'm Reverend Deborah Gay, and it's so much fun to see you dancing and moving those hips a little bit this morning. Beautiful summer day, and we have a great service ahead of us with the wonderful Reverend Dr. David Bruner in the house. We've had a preview, and we know you're going to have some fun and some things to think about. So, if you are new, I want to tell you how welcome you are. We're so happy that you have found your way here to us. And I just want to let you know, when the offering basket goes by, there'll be this card in it. And if you want to, you can pick it up, give us your contact information, particularly your email address, because we'll send you a spiritual practice in the middle of the week that we all do together as a spiritual community. So it's a way to be in connection even when we're not physically here together. And if you are someone who has a smartphone, we invite you to open it up to your Facebook page and just say, hi, I'm here at the Center for Spiritual Living, and we're having fun this morning. Because what we found when we do surveys and we talk with you, each of us was most likely brought here by a friend or a family member. And so that's how we find our way here. We find this community, we find our spiritual home from our friends and our family. So just think about that, and if you see the opportunity, mention us to someone who you think is looking for this kind of a home. And so, just like all families, we celebrate birthdays. So if you had a birthday last week or this coming week, would you stand and we will give you a gift? There's a birthday. Happy birthday! More birthdays. All kinds of birthdays. It's always great. I love to hear, I was late, but you get your birthday even if you weren't here.
Continuing in prayer, let us take this moment to set aside our daily plans, our concerns, and to just invite Spirit into our awareness, into the quiet of our mind when we allow it space to enter. So in the next few moments, let's just allow the love and peace of Spirit to move in and be present with us. And coming back, let us allow that presence, all the peace and the harmony, love that is Spirit, to continue to make its presence known in our awareness throughout this service and the rest of the day and beyond. And so it is.
What a beautiful song and reminder of that long journey. Thank you, Katrina and Bev. Well, it is my pleasure to tell you a little bit about Dr. David this morning. He's the Spiritual Living Centers for Spiritual Living Senior Minister in San Jose, California. And he has quite the sense of humor and is a very friendly, people-oriented guy, which you're going to find out. His congregation adores him for who he is, for his love of God, of people, and animals, and Harry Potter, and a particular fondness for People magazine, and Doritos, and great neckties. So, All of this is in his bio. You can read about that. But I do think this is an important fact. He was raised with 2 brothers and 7 sisters and 1 bathroom. And so he mastered the art of effective communication very early in his life. He moved to San Jose in 1999 from Los Angeles. He served at the central office, which is we call our home office, at that time, United Centers for Religious Science, and he was an assistant minister in North Hollywood, California. David is a visionary, one of our leaders of our movement. He's creative and passionate and authentic. So he's committed to religious science, and he's committed to those of us that love religious science. He lives his ministry and he walks his talk. So I ask you to give him a warm CSL welcome, Dr. David Bruner. Yum.
Good morning, Seattle. Good morning, good morning. So this is my second service in this room, and I have to tell you, I'm feeling a bit sinful. Yeah, can we talk? Oh, no, I do. I'm feeling sinful because somewhere in the Bible it says, thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife or ass. But I'm looking around this room and I'm feeling really covetous. I'm very happy to be here. I'm extremely happy. Your community has been, this community, 5801 Sandpoint Way, Northeast, has been for me a very long time. It has been my north on my spiritual compass. You know, the community who is living in such a way that inspires me and touches me and moves me. And we have a lot in common at the Center for Spiritual Living in San Jose, whom, by the way, send their greetings. They're very grateful that I'm here with you because it gives them a break. And I think it's very smart of your leaders to have a summer program and then to finish the summer program, your summer speaker series, with me, so that when I'm done with you today, you will be so happy Dr. Kathy Ann's coming back. Wow. One of the things I love about what you're up to is this particular community in Seattle has seriously mastered, the distinction between the 2 uses of laws, mental laws and spiritual laws. I have watched this community and observed you for a very long time, the way you do business, the way you treat people, the way you are generous with other communities in the world, and the way you make an impact. And my assessment is that you're really good at this because you've distinguished using mental laws and when to use mental laws, and using spiritual laws and when to use spiritual laws. For me, the distinction that I've observed from Dr. Kathy Ann and from your leadership here is mental laws are what we use when we want to handle our earth-based needs, such as paying your bills or fixing a diagnosis or softening the rough edges of a relationship or finding a new job or being a new person in your current job. So using mental laws are spiritual mind treatment, affirmations, visualization. Those are mental laws. But spiritual laws transcend mental laws. Christians call this grace. When through no efforting of your own, something shifts. And it's something I watch you practice a lot. I hear it from this stage a lot. I watch it on your YouTube channel a lot. And if you don't know that you have a YouTube channel, you should know this. Just go to spiritualliving.org. When you get on the landing page, click on services. And when you click on services, it'll drop down so you can see the live streaming, which is happening right now. Hello, live streamers, wherever you are. But below that is a little link that'll say, click on the YouTube channel page. And then all of these Sunday services are archived there so you can watch it. And it's apparently recorded in HD. How do I look? Anyway, what I'm learning from this stage is that spiritual law is transcended, and the way it's articulated from here a lot is through high mysticism, particularly through the teachings of Emma Curtis Hopkins, which we know as a love of Dr. Kathy Ann's. But what I hear from Dr. Kathy Ann and from you a lot is praise everyone and everything. Praise everyone and everything. Well, if I was feeling like I could praise everyone and everything, then I wouldn't have anything for which to pray, would I? So then I'm using my mental laws to pray for those things that apparently are not working. And then in order for me to get out of the way and allow the law to do what the law will do, I move into spiritual laws. Praise everything and everyone. Praise everything and everyone. And I get an opportunity to practice this every day. Don't you? Do you ever have people that give you an opportunity to breathe and think, well, there's something that I could probably praise a little more? Or there's a person or a weather pattern or a government or something to praise a little bit more. Any of you ever heard of something called Sesame Street? Some of you are old enough to remember. Some of you are old enough to have kids that watched it. Some of you don't know what I'm talking about, and you should leave this house. Sesame Street had pretty regularly in their broadcasts a segment in which they sang a song, one of these things is not like the other, one of these things doesn't belong. Can you tell me which thing is not like the other by the time I finish this song? And then they would have like a board, a presentation board, and on this board would be 4 examples. There'd be like a dinner plate, and a dinner plate, and a dinner plate, and a salad plate. And then they would sing the song, one of these things is not like the other. One of these things doesn't belong. Can you tell me which thing is not like the other by the time I finish this song? And our topic today here is forgiveness. And when I think about forgiveness, I think about a life of workability. A life that's free of drama. Like in my personal relationship with Mauricio Lopez, we have this agreement. This is the drama-free zone. Well, he has this agreement. I'm trying. It's a drama-free zone. And we also have this interesting agreement that's really working for me. There is nothing we cannot say to each other. That's our promise. There is nothing we cannot say to each other. And when I took this on, it was a little scary because I realized that my reactions to him very often actually teach him that he should never say that to me. So I say, there's nothing we can't say to each other, but when he says something I don't like, I have to be really careful. In order for me to be in integrity and keep my word, I need to be in response to him in such that I'm teaching him it's okay to say that. I know some of you are like real excited and terrified to take this on. But when I think about forgiveness, I think about a life of workability. I think about a life like my personal relationship. It's workable. I think about a life experience where I'm in partnership with the thing itself, in which anything can happen. So picture this board, and on this board at Sesame Street is 4 things. Powerful living, inseparable unity with the thing itself, compassionate, generous giving, complaining, criticizing, and belittling. One of these things is not like the other. One of these things doesn't belong. Can you tell me which thing is not like the other by the time I finish this song? Criticizing, condemning, and belittling. It gets in the way of the thing itself. It actually gets in the way. So forgiveness can only be present in the absence of my condemnation. But I often have, and I'm pretty normal, you probably are too, lots of reasons for your condemnation. Lots of justifications, and that's unfortunate. It's unfortunate you're so smart. It's unfortunate you figured out how right you are to be the victim. It's unfortunate that you were given such a smart brain to prove to yourself over and over again how bad they are. Because in so doing, the unfortunate aspect is you get to stay in a prison of your own making. The science of mind teaches us that it's very possible that you and I are creating the very thing from which we wish to extricate ourselves. So, Malaysia Airlines. I was here in Seattle at the Ministers' Ongoing Education Conference with Dr. Kathy Ann, Dr. Edward Fullion of Santa Rosa, Lisa Leggett Garcia from Reno, and 30 other ministers. And we saw the news and went, oh. And then we want to just sort of get right on with life and get on with, making money and picking up Kentucky Fried Chicken and taking your kids to school, get your hair done, manicures, pedicures, get on with life. But we're in trauma. The world is in trauma. Palestine, Israel, trauma. And I realize I'm in trauma. My world is in trauma. It's way too soon for me to have the forgiveness dialogue. I can't even contemplate that right now. All I can do in the presence of the immediate upheaval, whatever it is for me, and do any of you have immediate upheavals? Really? 3 of you? Really? Oh, that's right, religious science. Everything's fine, I'm fine. You know? Life is good. With that smile that never quite hits the eyes, you look kind of crazy. People worry about you. Fine. Well, there's a trail of wounded people behind you. But God is good. The thing to do when stuff happens, I'm learning, when stuff happens that you cannot even contemplate the forgiveness dialogue. It's too soon. You know some part of you one day will need to deal with this. You know it. One day. But in the meantime, I think the thing to do, like right now, the thing for me to do in my world that's in trauma is to move through it a little slowly, a little slower than before. Be a little more gentle with people. Don't snap at the barista because they mixed up the milk type. Take a breath before I react to my mate. Resist hurting the children one more day. In most states, there's a law, there's a waiting period. You can't buy a gun. There's a waiting period before you buy a gun. I think we should institute a law regarding email. There should be a waiting period. If there's any emotion involved in the email, when you hit send, it should go through a filter and there should be a waiting period. It's not allowed to be unleashed on the world until you have really thought about whether or not you want to do that. Because mostly we hit send and go, holy moly, how do I get that back? Gone. We should have a waiting period. Do you guys remember a song, I think it was in the 70s? You don't tug on Superman's cape. You don't spit in the wind. You don't pull the mask off the Lone Ranger, and you don't mess around with Jim. For me, the mystical elements of that song are very, very clear. Do not participate in self-defeating behaviors. Tugging on Superman's cape is self-defeating. Spitting into the wind, or as Americans would say, into the wind, is self-defeating behavior. Pulling the mask off the Lone Ranger is self-defeating behavior. And so is a life of hostility, complaints, unforgiveness, resentments. It's self-defeating behavior. We say God is all there is, and we say that anything's possible, and we move into using mental laws, and then we sit with Dr. Kathy Ann and do spiritual laws, and then we resent people and things, which negates all of that. That's self-defeating behavior. So when I was a little tyke, well, I still am. I'm one of 10 kids. I'm the 9th of 10. And I was raised in a Catholic church community. I went to Catholic school, and I loved my Catholic background. I loved my schooling. I loved my parish. I know that's not true for most people. I hit the jackpot. We had nuns that would pinch our cheeks when we arrived, and we had a Catholic priest that I respected, and my mother was a volunteer there, and my dad was like the janitor, and we're Catholic, 10 kids, Catholic or Mormon, Catholic. And so I was number 9. The second child is Diana. And Diana, I remember Diana vividly. Diana, who lives right now, she lives on the coast of Oregon. Diana, long blonde hair, feathered, blue eyeshadow, which should be illegal, but blue eyeshadow. This back then, blue eyeshadow, and dittos, jeans. Do you remember dittos? Some of you remember dittos, some of you don't. Pity. And when Diane would go out on dates, I was like, it's one of my earliest memories. And when she'd go on a date, I was afraid of the dark. I was scared. I almost said I was scared of the dark. And I would lay in my bed, and I would hear Diane leave on her date, and then I would sneak out of my bedroom and jump into Diana's bed because I felt safe there. And it smelled like her. I can still remember the smell of her perfume. And when she'd come home from her date, she'd come in and go, "Oh, you brat." And I know she was just kidding, but "You brat, you're in my bed. Now my bed's all warm, and come here." And she'd pick me up, and I would wrap my arms around her neck, and I'd put my face into her hair and wrap my legs around her middle, and she would carry me off to my bed, and then she'd say, "You stay out of my bed." And then she'd kiss me on the forehead, and she'd kiss me on the cheek, and she'd kiss me on the cheek, and then she'd tickle me, and then she'd run to bed. That was Diana. So imagine my horror when in 2005, as an adult, I went on a family houseboat trip with Diana and her husband. And I mean, first I'll put family and a houseboat in Lake Powell together. But I behaved badly. I behaved badly. There was no waiting period for my behavior, so when it was out there, it was irretractable. I marched off, had some drama, aged a bit, regretted it, reached out, called, emailed, texted, silence. And my heart was broken because, firstly, I was an idiot. Stupid, but then sorry and remorseful, regretful, wanting to make amends, but met upon deaf ears. So I sought out some counsel, ministers, practitioners, friends, trying to fix it. See, I kept trying to fix it, obsessing about it too, obsessing. Do any of you here obsess? I just wonder, like, are you my people or are you not my people? You obsess? Good, let's talk. So obsessing about it and sad. I mean, this is my sister. I could still smell her perfume. So my father then died 2 years after my bad behavior. My father passed away. No word from Diane, by the way, but I knew Diana would be at the funeral. And then I was worried because I didn't want to face Diana for the first time in 2 years and feel my shame and my remorse and my sorrow and my anger at her for not forgiving me. Because this was about the man to whom my mother was married for 60 years. I cannot make my dad's funeral about me and Diana. So I got a counselor involved, and a therapist, psychiatrist, Southern accent, atheist, teaches yoga. Yeah, and listens to Esther and Jerry Hicks. And would lean into me with a Southern accent and say, "David, what's your intention?" He said to me with this very Southern accent, "David is not allowed to go to that funeral. David is not allowed to go to that funeral. But Reverend David can go." Then I got the distinction. David, disappointed, sad, all that stuff, not allowed to go. Reverend David will go. And it was good, smart advice. Very smart advice. Through some more exploration, here's what I'm learning about forgiveness. Oftentimes, forgiveness is necessary because I'm attached. See, I was attached. I was attached to a relationship with Diana, attached. But I gave up my attachment. I'm no longer allowed to be attached. Now I'm committed. When I'm attached, that means when it's my birthday and there's no text message, I'm sad. When I'm attached and there's no phone calls, I'm sad. When I'm attached and there's no visitation or she avoids me, I'm sad. When I'm committed, then I don't even notice because I'm committed. I'm committed to a relationship with her. I'm committed. I'm sharing this with you because maybe it's helpful for one or two of you to get the distinction between being attached and being committed. They're not the same. And you might say, well, this is not so easy. This is hard. This can be really, really hard. But when I think about things being really, really hard, I think about Yoda. You guys ever heard of somebody called Yoda? Star Wars, Episode 5, The Empire Strikes Back. In the presence of The Empire Strikes Back, there is a scene in which Luke's X-Wing fighter crashes. And then Luke is with Yoda learning to practice the art of the Force, kind of like you here with Dr. Kathy Ann. You're practicing the art of using the Force. And Luke is watching as his beloved X-Wing fighter is beginning to sink deeper and deeper and deeper into the swamp until R2-D2 does his funny little sounds like he's really agitated. And Yoda tells Luke, use the Force. And Luke is like, I can't. It's too hard. I know I'm too dramatic, but it's too hard. We didn't do that first service. They're a whole different crowd. They're like the spiritual aerobicists. Do you know that? They're sitting there like, give me my spiritual work. Just give it to me. And they take it and go. You guys are easy. You just want to be entertained. No depth here whatsoever, but it's fantastic. Right? I know. See, but I said that to give you an opportunity to forgive me, because this is all about forgiveness. A lot of depth in both of them. Just distinct. It's too hard. We'd like that. I can't take this on. It's too hard. There is no easy or hard, by the way, in God. There isn't. There just is. You either lift the X-Wing fighter or you don't. You either get committed to a relationship with Diana or you don't. You either break through it or you don't. You do or you don't. So Luke just, and then the X-Wing fighter comes up. I want to tell you about, there's something that goes on in my head at times. It's scary. Maybe one or two of you know this experience of having conversations. Usually for me it happens in the shower or in the car on the freeway by myself. And I'm fighting with somebody and there's nobody there. And I've had the full conversation. And then I said, and then he says, and then I said, and then she said, and then they said, and then my heart begins to race. And I actually begin to have the experience of being angry and I'm all by myself. And then I think, well, same things that you know is like, David, have mastery over your own thinking. There's something to learn about thinking. Don't believe everything you think. Most of my trouble is I believe what I think. So I found a surefire way that helps me, by the way, because now I haven't stopped those conversations. I haven't even altered them, but I have a different relationship with them now, because I no longer feel bad when the voices start happening. Like, oh, I should know better than this. For goodness sakes, I've been in religious science for almost 30 years. I've listened to Dr. Kathy Ann. I've hung out with you in this beautiful place. I should know better. And then I just feel bad about not knowing and managing this. And so I just decided that I'm going to disassociate with this guy. And I no longer identify with it being my voice. I now have an evil twin. I mean, because if Dexter has a dark passenger, then so can I. So I've named him Bubba. So when the voices start, you shouldn't do that, and you should never have said that about this service. And I'm like, Bubba, there you are, Bubba. But Bubba's not allowed to go to parties. Bubba is not allowed to drink. And yeah, so when Bubba comes in, I no longer feel like I've got a friend with me, and I kind of have to keep him on the down low because I don't want people to know that I have this friend. But I no longer feel bad about me, and that's very helpful. But there are three surefire ways that I've discovered to help me move through unforgiveness. One of them is to find something every day in which I have a little bit of joy. To have even a little bit of joy, surefire, predictable joy every day, no matter what. To have a little bit of joy every day is extraordinarily helpful. Because even my worst day is made tolerable with a little bit of intentional joy. Do any of you know Sex and the City? Yeah? There's a character in there, Charlotte. And Charlotte is the eternal optimist. But Charlotte really means it. She's really optimistic. It's always going to work out for her. Everything's going to be fine. She's always happy looking at the bright side. And then Samantha is the sexy maven. And Samantha is Charlotte's opposite. But so Charlotte was talking about her relationship, and Samantha was complaining about relationships. And Samantha said, surely you're not happy in your relationship every day. And Charlotte said, yes, I'm happy in my relationship every day. Not all day, every day, but I'm happy every day. So I add a little joy to my life every day. Just a little moment. So intentional joy. The second thing that's powerful is slowing down enough to listen to intuition so that we behave in accordance with that intuition. So find some joy, slow things down. And the third thing, listen to the words of Esther Hicks. So the first, let me tell you how I bring the joy into my life every day. I have a dirty little secret that I'm going to share with you. Well, actually, I have a lot of dirty secrets, but I'm only going to share one of them with you. One of them is that I bring joy into my life every day, but I know that it's unacceptable and that people don't like it and it's worrisome for folks. And so I hide it. I don't want people to know, but I can't live with that secret anymore. I have hidden in the top drawer of my office desk a bottle, and I keep one in the trunk of my car. Even Mauricio didn't know about it before watching online from Guadalajara today. Okay? That secretly, I love Coffee Mate. No, seriously, I'm not kidding you. I love it. It brings me joy. 2 teaspoons is only 10 calories and 0 points on Weight Watchers. It no longer has trans fats, but I realized the downside is that it's made with corn syrup solids, and it does have hydrogenated fats in it. And I realized that you will judge me for it. I know that when I go to Tully's or Seattle's Best or Starbucks, I don't see Cremora or Coffee Mate on the counter. I know. I totally get it. That's why I secretly, when they say, do you want room? I go, no, thanks, I'll take it black. And then in stealth, I sneak out to the parking lot, and then I open the trunk of my car, and I look around like it's a drug deal, and I'm waiting for the clown to hand me my brown paper bag. And I put my little Cremora Coffee Mate in, and I stir it, and I close my trunk, and I get on with my day. My oldest sister, her name is Peggy. And Peggy passed away in 2000. She's been gone 14 years. She died of pancreatic cancer. She was like my junior mother. I learned to drink coffee with Peggy back in the 70s. She drove a 1972 Corvette Stingray. in which we would get 9 people. That's a whole different sermon. But we would drive with her smoking her cigarettes, hanging out the window, and big hair with a bow on it right here. And we would go to her house, and she would sneak me a little bit of her coffee with lots of sugar, and it was at room temperature and this fake stuff. So every day, even though she's been gone for 14 years, I put a couple spoonfuls in my cup, and it's like Peggy's in my kitchen. And it makes me happy. So the second thing that I wanted to share with you was to be creative and open, slow down for wisdom. I saw a mother recently who expressed this wisdom clearly that allows her to be in a forgiveness state clearly and easily. She's got 3 kids. They're all rambunctious. They're amazing kids. She loves her kids. The kids love her. It's awesome. And then sometimes she's just tired and needs to get away. She just needs to breathe in order to allow them to live. And so in the morning, and they're all girls, and they run in and they jump on the bed, and one of them's like hanging onto her neck going, can we play piggyback? And the other one, little kid going, Ronnie, you smell like peanut butter. And then the mom's like looks at the dad and says, they're yours for 30 minutes. And then she goes outside and she sits down in her Adirondack chair right next to the stairs stoop, and on the other side of her is a pussy willow tree. And there she has moments with herself and her quiet and her God. And then her 5-year-old comes out. And she gives her 5-year-old that look. The look that says, and the 5-year-old sits right next to her. And she says to the 5-year-old, I'm going to tell you a secret. But you can't tell your other 2 sisters. Okay. The mother says, if you sit here really, really still for a very long time, and you're really, really quiet, like you have to be real quiet for a very long time. If you sit here really still and really quiet for a very long time next to this pussy willow tree, you will hear this pussy willow tree meow. And for about a half an hour every day, her 5-year-old, that's genius. Genius. Find joy, even if it's in Coffee Mate or Cremora. Be creative with your telling of the truth to your 5-year-old. And lastly, let's listen to the words of Esther Hicks when it comes to forgiveness and praise. I think about your center when I read this. I thought about your center. Praise everyone and everything. Praise everyone and everything. Praise everyone and everything. Praise everyone and everything. Esther Hicks says, if there's anything to praise, I praise it. If there's anything to criticize, I pet my cat until the feeling of criticism goes away. Let's pray together. I'm extremely grateful to be here in this room at this time with these people. And I'm speaking my word, not my words, because the words of this prayer are irrelevant. I'm not interested in creating a bit of poetry or prose or something beautiful to wow or awe. No. I'm interested in speaking my word, which is to take a stand, make an intention, and to be a breakthrough in the presence of the lives of those within earshot of my voice. The stand that I take is a stand that your CBEC conference is extraordinary, that people are enriched and enlivened and refreshed and renewed. I speak my word for your Better Business Breakfast and Better Business Lunch on Tuesday. May it be extraordinary, and may you help people to thrive. I speak my word of gratitude for your youth volunteers, those people who care for your kids, the kitchen, the man who washes those coffee cups, your bookstore, your sanctuary, your welcome center, your Build a Better World group. I'm deeply grateful for Ray and Susan and Constance for taking care of me today, Reverend Deborah for her hosting, your musicians. Deeply grateful. I'm grateful to have a moment to be in this room because I know when I get on that Southwest Airlines flight today headed for Oakland, I will be a man who never existed before. I have been transformed in this room in the presence of these beautiful people. And that's what can happen for all of us. The person who leaves today is a person who has never lived before. The person who came into this room no longer exists. So that is the stand that I take. We leave here brand new. So I invite you to take a moment, even if you walked in to this room with someone next to you. You don't know them anymore, they don't know you. I'm going to end this prayer by asking you to turn and introduce yourself to someone for the very first time. And so it is. Hi, I'm David.
Great.
Nice to know you. Nice to know you. Guys.
Thank you, Karina and Bev. So beautiful. And they have a table in the lobby if you want to go see them and support their music. And let us give a warm appreciation for Dr. David Bruner. Thank you. I'm not sure I'll ever look at a jar of coffee mate in quite the same way. I want to just show you on the back of your program, there's a variety of drop-in groups, support groups for you this afternoon. If you are looking to meet new people here at the Center for Spiritual Living, the Connection Circle is a good way to meet people. It meets upstairs right after the second service. And see, there are others. There is an ACA group that meets at 4. So a variety of ways to get support and to meet other people. So I ask our ushers to join me by coming forward. And I ask you if you would take out your financial support to the center and hold it in your hand, or hold your hand against your heart as we enter into prayer, into the one mind together. And so we, the people of the Center for Spiritual Living of Seattle, let us join in this one heart, this one mind, this place where all life is connected, and truly know the truth together, that it is from this place that we know that we're each on such a perfect life journey. It contains ups and downs. It contains moments of regret, moments where we know forgiveness is required, and we open our hearts deeper and wider to receive that inner love, that inner insight, so we may take that next step. That next step to bring more love, more compassion, more wisdom into this world through us. And we do this in community so that we can support each other. We can see the highest in each other. We can grow together. We can learn together and be those people that we dream to be, knowing what we are loved and supported and nurtured by this community. So I'm so deeply grateful for every person here. And in this, I know it is good. And I say amen, and so it is.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a soul.